Hey everybody, welcome to Formula STEM Esports Cup presented by Brightspeed Fiber Internet. My name is Ryan Vargas, and if you don't know who I am, I'm a NASCAR driver. I race in the NASCAR Canada Series now. We finally were able to get that news out. Last time I was on here, I said I was teasing news. It's officially public now, so really excited about that. I also race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and maybe going back to Europe. We'll see. So been a little bit all over the place. Been racing since I was 11 years old, and being 24 now, I guess that makes me old in racing terms. So that's part of it. Really excited about tonight. I love doing the Formula STEM Esports Cup, mainly just because I love being able to talk about racing with you guys, teach you a little bit more about kind of the ins and outs of what goes on and how you kind of set up corners and different things. We'll be playing is F1 2024. Not a game that I'm naturally accustomed to, obviously being a stock car guy, but really enjoy the game. It really gets the fundamentals down, which is nice. It really is able to be translated to you guys, so that's really excited. Throughout tonight, make sure you guys fill the chat with questions. Don't be afraid to ask anything you really want. There's no bad questions here, only the ones you don't ask. I sound like a cheesy teacher. But yeah, I'm here to help as best as I can and teach you guys, what I can about getting, finding that speed out there on the racetrack. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. And especially because we're going to one of my favorite tracks, and that track is Interlagos. So we're going to take a quick look at that here. But Interlagos is a very technical, very tricky racetrack, a lot of elevation change, very high speed straightaway coming into turn number one, and then you get a little bit of a downhill heavy break through sector one there, going through that tight turn one, downhill into turn number two, and then it's a wide open flat foot turn number three, and that carries you down that long DRS zone into turn number four. Turn 5, you'll pick it up right there, carrying wide open through there, going up to turn 6, where you do a nice little scrub at the brake, getting over to turn 7 and 8. Really, you're using turn 7 to set up for corner number 8. Corner 8, you get a nice heavy brake, slow movement through there, setting up for turn number 9, making sure that you set yourself far off to the right. And that's where you kind of go back into a very similar corner to turn number 8 in terms of how you set it up. Nice and rolling through there. You get up to speed relatively quickly through there. Carry that speed all the way up into turn number 10, where once again we have a heavy braking right hand hairpin right there. That's where we'll be really trying to, that's where a lot of the speed can be found, is how efficient you are on the brakes. Coming out of turn number 10, you'll go through turn number 11. That corner is it's very deceiving. It's a tight. It's kind of a tight corner, but with these Formula One cars and the downforce that these things generate, you can pretty much go through there wide open. I've had no issues going wide open through there in the practice runs that I've done so far. Then that leads into another heavy braking turn 12, and that's where you have to make sure you maximize the exit. I would rather you guys almost back up that entry, and by back up, I mean lift sooner. And basically be able to attack the throttle a lot harder and sooner here. Make sure I have everything set up. All right, we're all good and cool. But yeah, obviously turn 13, 14, and 15, you're not going to be lifting for those. That's a wide open straightaway. That's where we'll be basically putting, all of our speed to work there. And as you see, it's another DRS zone there. In the race, DRS will be automatic, so that won't be an issue, but that's where you're going to be making up a lot of speed, setting up your passes, especially if you're in the slipstream of the car in front of you. So, this place, it's simultaneously tricky, but once you do a few laps around it, it's really not too bad. That's kind of one of the big things that I've noticed about it. So one of the things that we'll be talking about a lot in this, and I'll be going over it when I'm running my practice laps, but a lot of the things that you're going to see here today, I'm really going to be teaching you the fundamentals of the track. But then by the end of today, I'm really going to be going over driving around this place in the wet, because if you guys saw the schedule, it is a wet race. We're going to be racing in the water, so it's going to be nice and slippery and really difficult to get around there. So, personally, I love racing in the wet. It's probably one of my favorite things you could do, especially going around a tricky track like this. It's all about trying to find the grip. So yeah, other than that, is there any questions from the chat? That's the big thing. One section that I really love this front stretch section, turn all the way from turn 13 to turn 1 here. That's kind of my favorite area of the track here. That's just really where you're able to set up all your passes, and be able to really make sure that you're getting after it there, and basically opening up an opportunity to, you know, basically opening up your passing opportunities. That's the biggest thing there. So, yes. Some of the areas that I would say I want to focus on a lot for today really is these really tight zones. And by tight zones, I mean turns 1, 2, and 3. And then you got your turns 8, 9, 10, and 11. Those are going to be the areas that we really are going to focus on, because of the fact of how slow you really need to go to get through there. That's the biggest thing that I would put into this instead. Sure, I have everything on my end ready to go. All right. Well, here we go. There we go. Cool. Got the questions up, so I'm ready to go. But I think it's about time we just go ahead right on in and hop in for some laps. And by the way, I'll have my questions up, so if you guys have any questions, by all means, let me know. But we're gonna hop on track, so I'm gonna hop into the hot laps here. And so, for full transparency, I got a few assists on, just so that we can go over everything, specifically the driving line, a little bit of ABS, so on and so forth, making sure that we're able to get through these corners effectively and efficiently, so that you guys can kind of learn what you need. So I'm going to do a slow lap around here. And it's going to drop us right in here. I am doing the shifts on my own, though. That's one thing I really liked when I started doing it. But as you see here, long, wide open straightaway here. Trying to keep it tight and snug to the left side of the racetrack. And now, so this area right here is where the biggest point of contention will be. You're going to be heavy braking here, somewhere around that 100 mark. And making sure that you really get a good entry through here. This corner here, I know it's turn 1. But when you're looking at this whole set of corners, you can kind of see they all connect to each other. They're all very much dependent on one another. So as long as you have yourself a good entry through here, making sure that you get yourself all the way to the left. You even see, even going slow, I didn't get all the way over there. Making sure that you set yourself up for turn number 2, which in turn gets you set right back up for turn number 3. Coming back through here, you'll go all the way out, wide open on the throttle. And these things, they just have so much acceleration. And then heavy braking through here. I'm braking really early, so I can go over it with you guys. Once you get down through the gears, I believe this is a 3rd gear corner, could be 2nd. Don't really know for sure. I have to go. Once I do a few laps, you'll be able to tell. But you'll kind of get yourself hung out up here. I am all about making sure that you get all the way off to the right here. And by that, I mean making sure that you put yourself over this exit curve here. So as you see, if you get yourself all the way to the right here, and this is a big thing that I stress to everybody, if you're able to get yourself all the way to the right here, it sets yourself up for a better entry into this corner right here on your left. So you'll carry all that speed all the way out. Make sure, let me pull up the questions on my phone, make sure I'm not missing anything, because my phone likes to turn off on me for some reason. Let me put something over there so I don't lose it. Yeah, let's put this WD-40 can over there. I think that's a good idea. Perfect. So exit this corner all the way off to the right. setting yourself up for this set of corners here. Light scrub of the brake here, just making sure that you get down to this curb here. Making sure you get it nice and pointed. This is another area where you're going to kind of charge up the hill and then heavy brake somewhere around this zone. And as you see, it kind of straightens out here. Big thing here is making sure that you get that straight line brake. Straight line brake is basically where you hit the brakes and you want that wheel completely straight. You don't want to be turning or anything like that because you could force yourself into a lockup situation. And that's where you'll essentially cause a flat spot. And you do not need that. That is something that we face in real life. In terms of the game here, I don't really know the extent of which they have that mapped out. But set yourself up for this tight corner. Let it flow back out and then cut right back down. Go ahead and get all the way to the right here, setting yourself up. Wide exit here. And then right here, this is another really heavy, tight corner. Backing up this entry, making sure that you roll through here. You don't need to be charging it or trying to do anything crazy. Getting yourself all the way down over this curb. Boom, boom, boom. All the way back out to the left, making sure that you carry that momentum. I'm telling you, these exit curbs, a lot of people don't think about that stuff, the exit curbing, but that exit curbing really is your friend with a lot of these road circuits here. It's all about making sure that you keep that momentum up, keeping that exit speed up, because that's the point where you're really going to be able to maximize everything. Going through here, this is a full speed corner, but it's really important to stay left here. You don't really need to get on the curb there, but making sure that you keep the speed up. Heavy braking in through here. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into a flying lap. And you're going to see a lot of mistakes here because, well, I'm not too great at this game. But I'm going to try and put it all together here for you. So let's go into it here. Heavy brake into one. See how I kind of have to set up for each of those corners one after the other. Heavy braking coming up here. All the way out to that exit curb. All the way to that exit curb. Nice decent scrub on the brake here. Overcooked that. It's not what you want to do. Nice exit. Setting myself up for this corner up here. Wide open, lot of wheel into this. Heavy brake. Second gear. It actually wasn't a bad lap. I thought it was going to suck. And that is a lap around here. Look at that, 110. That's how you get your lap time invalidated. So, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go back to the garage, take a look at everything over. But yes, let me make sure I pull up the chat, make sure I don't have any questions. By the way, if anybody has any questions watching these laps, by all means, feel free to ask. Track record here, by the way, is Valtteri Bottas set that here. I believe. Let me see. I have my chat here, and I want to make sure that I have it correctly. But I think it was a 1 minute 10 something. I want to double check on that. Anyways, we'll go back after it. And I will do some laps in the wet here later on so that you guys can see it. Let's try one more flyer. Let's see what we can get. And that's what happens when you get the curb. That was great. Let's see. That was awesome. Oh, let's do flashback. Let's go right there. Oh, can I not do flashback? Can I not do flashback and hot laps? I think you can, right? Oh, there it is. There it is. At the line, I can. Oh, I still have the dang flag. Oh well. We'll still keep cooking. Keep learning the track a little bit more. A lot of understeer through there. Alright, let's do one more flyer here. Ah, oh, come on! That's the stock car driver in me pushing the limits off the track. Oh, that's funny. Any questions though? I mean, that's the big thing. I want to try and help and try and find, opportunities as to where I can kind of offer a little bit of, a little bit of assistance. Kind of a lackadaisy exit, just trying to set up here. All the way out here, try and build some momentum and line. A little sloppy there, but it works. All the way to the exit curb. All the way to the exit curb. Heck yeah, that was a nice one. Doesn't help that I go all the way wide there. Lose a couple tenths there, probably. I did. I lost time by doing that. That was going to be a good lap, too. I lost 900s doing that. Oh, that's funny. Here, let's do this, though. Turn to garage. But I think the biggest thing that we got to look at here is the wet weather. So we'll go into that here in a little bit. I'm going to do a few more laps here and kind of go over the track more at a medium pace here. That way I'm not trying to chase a lap time that I don't need to be chasing. Just making sure, like I said, all the way out to this exit curb. Basically just keeping your momentum up through here. Big thing that I want to stress here is the heavy braking. I mean, you're putting so much brake into here. And all you're just trying to do is set up for this corner, which in turn sets up for this corner, which in turn sets you up for this corner. I'm telling you, that's one of the things about road racing is making sure that you are able to connect the corner with the last, especially in those rhythm sections like that. Heavy braking into here. This is a third gear corner I found. Heavy on the gas, all the way through here, wide open. All the way to that exit curb, making sure that you use all that up. Decent scrub of the brake. I found about 2 downshifts there is the number. Down to second here. Keeping it in second through here is kind of the best option I found. Heavy brake. Down into here. Up on that curb if you can. Not end of the world though. As you saw from my flying laps, I never really got that high on the curb. And yeah, that's kind of like how you go about it right there, right? All right, we're gonna set ourselves up for a flying lap here. As I completely missed the corner. Are we still purple? I think we're still purple. Okay, that's shocking. Oh, where the exit? Decent exit pace there. Look at that. I'm okay with that. And line. Whew. But as you see, the general consensus that I really like to talk about with this place is the fact that every corner is so connected to the previous one. That's the biggest thing. Um, that's the biggest thing that I've, seen is that making sure that you keep those corners connected to one another, making sure that you use turn 1 to set up for turn 3. Make sure that you use, I think it's turn 7 to set up for 8. Let me make sure I got that correct. Yes. So I'm going to pull up the track map real quick because I want to make sure I get the corner numbers right. Basically, using turn 6 to set up for turn 9, right? Like, it's all connected in its own way, right? But I think we need to get into the shenanigans. I think we need to go and run some laps in the wet. I think that's what we need to do. Let's see. Advance. Make sure I got that. By the way, any questions so far? Anybody? So something that I'm looking at right now, we will be on full wets in the race. Full wets. So that is something to remember. All right, F124. Brazil. We'll do Red Bull. We'll drive as Max. And then I'm gonna turn you can't do practice laps in the wet. They removed that. I don't understand why you can't do practices in the wet, but I digress. So we'll essentially use the race as our practice. I'm gonna turn the AI to like 0 and do our own thing. Let's turn the assists a little bit down, only because I want you guys to see how difficult it is. Traction control, do medium, dynamic. Okay. We're going to keep the assists at like a medium level here. Time of weather, we're going to go. All right, so we're going to go wet. Okay. Yeah. This is going to be difficult. It's crazy. I remember that race here that was in the wet. Was it last season or the season before that? But it was nuts just watching Max go through the field like he was. All right. Next. All right. So, as you see, it's already real slippery. Woohoo! Yeah. So that's a big thing that I'm going to be telling you guys is watch the slidiness of this stuff. It is so... Oh, it's so slidey. Woohoo! That's awesome. As you can see, you have to be a lot less aggressive in the wet. As you can see, a lot of understeer. We're on the intermediate tire here. As you can see, there's just such little grip. And so typically in racing and in sim racing, you kind of move your line around a little bit, right? And by that, I mean, you'd almost run offline. So you may run a little bit higher up here. But we're kind of going off what the game is telling us to do here because I don't want us to deviate too far off of what, what the system wants us to do, right? Wide open through here. Car should have enough down. Yes, it does to pretty much go wide open. Braking offline is really key in the wet. I'm only going to go to third here. I don't want to push too hard in second gear because there's a lot of snappiness in the car when we're that low in gear. Lots of understeer into a snappy loose. So what's happening there, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what's happening there because we got a 6-second lead. Like I said, I put the the difficulty at the minimum. What's happening there is you get yourself into an understeer situation where your wheel is turned either direction completely full, like that, right? So when your wheel is completely clocked one direction, once you feed the throttle back to it, it wants to snap that direction. That's because you have the front end so bound up, so tight that it wants to go that direction. And once you feed that throttle, it's immediately going to cut back. And that's the biggest thing, I'm telling you. That's the biggest thing in the wet that is so easy to do, is to get behind on your steering. Once you get behind on your steering and you're pushing that nose, and then suddenly that grip comes back in the nose and you have your wheel cocked to the left and you're feeding it throttle. As you can see, big lock up there. Mind you, this is with...
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now.
No issues with tire wear, allegedly, as I'm sliding them all over the racetrack. I call your bluff there, Mr. Engineer. But heavy brake, as you see, lots of quick snaps. That's that understeer into oversteer right there. It's very common. It happens in stock car racing too, I promise. See right there, it's building into an oversteer. Overdrove that entry. Nice little flick of the wheel. Very slippery. Woohoo! This is fun. I do enjoy this. This is great. Here, what I'm interested in doing here, let me see. Let's go restart session. Make sure I pull up the thing. Make sure there's no questions. Cool. Okay. So, camera, cockpit. settings. Let's take away. I'm going to make myself look like a dummy here. We're going to turn off every assist. Oh boy. We're turning off every assist, and I want you guys to see just how difficult it is to race in the rain. Mind you, I'm half throttle right now. Woo. This car is already immensely harder to drive. A lot of understeer. Saw right there, it wanted to snap loose on me. Woohoo! As you saw right there, it wants to snap. Woo! Sorry, Hamilton. Oh no, the stewards are mad at me. You'll have that. So when I got to race in Europe, I got to visit with stewards before, because every racing series out there is sanctioned by the FIA, and meeting with stewards is just as how is exactly how you imagine it. It feels like you're going into the principal's office. So we're still P7 on 0 difficulty AI after spinning. So if you ever wanted to know how easy 0 difficulty AI is, here's your answer.
Let's use overtake and burn off some of
Let's
the
use overtake on it. You're 10-4, Dr. Engineer Man. I'm actually getting around here fairly okay, given the lack of assists. Charles! Oh, that's fun. Oh, this is so fun with no assists. So as you guys can see, not having your assists on in this is difficult. So this is how, like I said, it's racing in the wet versus being
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
having any assists on, even the lowest ones, versus not is insane. Ooh, that's my front wing. Look out, Oscar Pastry. So even in the wet, that area right there, that corner is a flat foot corner. That is way too low in the RPM. Sorry, way too low in the gears. Very easy to get behind on your steering here. Second gear through this hairpin. Even with the wet. Woo! Oh. Stay on track. Woo! Second gear, final corner. Try and get the power down! Ah! I'm spinning them in 5th gear. Oh, that's awesome. I love raw, unadulterated power like that. That's incredible. So the biggest takeaway that I have, and this is something for you guys to note, is your racing line will not change too much from dry to wet with, you know, the current setup and everything, right? Even with no assists on, the original racing line seems to be the way to go. As I'm almost spitting out. That's wide. Rolling through here. Woo-hoo! I'm just giggling. It's awesome. I sound like a little kid just giggling, but it's like, it's so fun driving in the rain, guys. You are all gonna have such a blast in this race. It's gonna be equally as sketchy as it is fun. I promise you. Oh, turned in too soon. Woo! You could hear it and feel it in the wheel too. How it's just spinning those rear tires.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Kept it in 3rd there, trying to keep the rear end a little bit more stable by doing so. It just injects a lot less RPM, less wheel spin. That's something that I have found when I race in the rain in real life is less RPM, the better as I go wide. Keep it on track. Hamilton, Lewis, Max. What car are we? But that's been the biggest thing, is making sure that you limit RPM a little bit so that you're able to keep that rear end underneath you. Because the higher up in the RPM, the more it shocks that rear end, and it makes the car very snappy, very jumpy. Like, watch, I'm going to be 1st gear here. See what I mean? Versus if I do that in 4th, nothing, right? Now, I'm not saying to be in 4th there. But what I am saying is the lower the RPM, the more wheel spin you will tend to get. So if you're somebody who's a little bit more timid in the wet, you know, your first time, not many assists, don't really know what to feel, take the 2nd gear corners in 3rd. Get used to it. Try that out. See what that feels like. It does not hurt. Watch, I'm going to be 2nd gear here. Buzzed. Completely buzzed. So, I mean, it's just, that's one of the things you have happen.
Given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your
Like I
head
said,
down and let's get it done.
just spinning the tires. See how easy? Like, I could do donuts right now. I'm doing donuts. Hi, Yuki. I'm doing a burnout right now.
Okay, you've got front wing damage, but only have a few laps.
I got disqualified. This is what happens when you try to prove a point. Oh, is my computer figuring it out?
And it's Monaco go for Charles Leclerc as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
That devolved from me learning into me just having a ball doing donuts. Man, they really love their cutscenes.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you.
How do we get out of here? I wanna go back out there and run a few more laps. Oh man. Let's see. There we go. I'll go back. That's fine. I'll throw Brazil back on. So what we'll do is we'll do one more flying lap in the dry so that we can kind of go over the track and all that one last time, so everybody's kind of on the same page, and I think we'll call that good for today. Brazil. By the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them. I will do the best I can to answer and help as best I can. There's one thing I am going to do with the settings. I'm going to turn on driving line because I do like that. It helps. Just so I could see how much brake. It is a very big help. These F1 cars are quite different. Okay, so I have no assists on here again, by the way. I want to see how this goes, how it feels. By the way, if you guys have any last minute questions before we get wrapped up here, I'm literally just buzzing laps, just kind of showing a little bit more of the facility here in Interlagos. Again, one of my favorite tracks here. One of my favorite circuits as I lock up the left front. Oh man. Here, let's go. Let's put a little bit of assist back on. Well, we'll make it a little bit nice. We'll do a little bit of that. And no, I don't want to do anti-lock. You know what? Let's just be brave. Let's be brave. But do we have any last minute questions from anybody? Bruh. Left the track. I'm over the curb, dang it. If you don't want us to go there, put a wall there. That's my belief in track limits. If anybody's watched a NASCAR race on a road course, you've seen we go miles off the track. It's very hilarious. Trying to carry as much speed, getting all the way out to the exit curbs. I like this in fifth. I think fifth is a good secure gear as I overcharge that corner once again. Second gear, nice and smooth on the throttle application. I'm so slow on that upshift from 6th to 7th there. There we go. So yeah, assists are valuable. But we're going to go ahead and toss it off. I think that was a really fun one. Honestly, the biggest thing that I will tell you guys about this place is just make sure that you connect each corner to the previous one, like I mentioned before. I know I've probably sounded like a broken record saying that, but you know, you look at the turns 1, 2, 3 section, or you look at the 6 through 9 section there, where each corner is consecutively dependent on how you exit the previous corner. It is so detrimental to your lap time to make sure that you set that up. So that's the biggest thing that I have for you guys. Other than that, I had a blast. I love hopping on here, running some hot laps, but then also getting into some shenanigans, whether I turn off assists and get in the wet. I heard something out here that I didn't really have come through, but But no, really enjoyed that. Make sure everything's all good on my end. I want to make sure I get everything here before. Yeah, I think that is everything. I had one of the producers say there was something up. See, there it is. But yeah, other than that, the biggest thing that I have to tell you guys is, like I said, just kind of focus on those things. But in the meantime, if you guys make sure you guys are ready for race day this upcoming Tuesday. Race day coverage begins at 2 p.m. to meet on Tuesday for prep. We'll see you guys there. In the meantime, I'm Ryan Vargas. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and yeah, have some fun out there. Don't get caught up in too many puddles out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.